Hi y'all, welcome to my Ivycreates channel. I am Deanna Carroll, and I wanted to do something similar to what I've made to show y'all tonight. It's going to be it's kind of like your little door entryway hanging key hanger. I've been taking a class and I wasn't able to get to the videos, and what had happened was I had this great piece of a very old antique shutter, and I had all these parts, and I get too excited whenever I'm going to make something. I typically get too excited about it and I can't wait. So this is a very, very old shutter piece. As you can see, it had been cut off and painted, and I didn't like what it looked like, so I decided to repaint and repurpose it. And that's what I'm all about, is repurpose, recycle, reuse, everything you possibly can. And the reason being is because if you make something with recycled items or things that you repurposed, you're going to be making something that's totally one of a kind, and there will not be two just alike. And you won't find it in a store, you won't find it anywhere like that. So, this is about $5 worth of materials, because I had this piece. I had these clothespins. They are antique. They were in my washroom, in fact, in a bag. The stickers were from the Dollar Tree, and they only cost $1 for the whole set of stickers. And these are all inspirational type items. You know, believe you can and you're halfway there. Things that you would like to see when you're leaving, when you're going to and from your house, and you know, when you come in the door, there's always that little extra help. So this down here, the kitty cats are cast iron. They were brass, and they are hooks to hang your keys on. And I painted them back black because I preferred that. I'm not really a brass person. And so those guys, this will hang. You can use this for notes, these clips here, and then you have your keys down here, and you have your inspiration for the day. So I'm going to do another version of this, since I couldn't wait to make this, and I went ahead and made it. So so these are our fence boards that I have just painted black with caviar Dixie Belle, and these are new boards. They're not aged boards. These are some fence boards that I found. I try to watch when people are taking down a fence so that I can get some boards from them and use those for different projects. I never throw away wood. I'm just like that. To me, it's like having Lincoln logs or an erector set or something like that. I will find something to make out of them. So this is an old piece here that is already weathered. It had pieces of nails left in it, although they're gone out the bottom. And so I sanded it smooth a little bit just on the edges. I did not sand the front, just on the edges to make it smoother. And it's funny, the older wood gets, the softer it feels. It just comes with age, it gets a softness to it. So that's probably going to go there. And I don't know whether I'm going to paint that yet or what, and I'm sorry I'm saying "and" so much. But anyways, I don't know what I'm going to do with that quite yet. So I've got my Dixie Belle vintage duck egg, and I'm loading up my brush, and I want to go and lightly, start really lightly first, and kind of pull it down, and lighter and lighter and lighter. That also, when you're running out of paint, that helps to do that. So I'm going to go back up with the other side. I'm not adding any more paint to my brush, because all I'm doing is pulling it through to kind of give it some age. And you're going to touch it up, and I'm barely touching the wood. Try not to stop in the middle like I just did, because then it creates a stopping point, and that's not what you want. You want it to look like it was part of something else a long time ago. And that, if you have the full pull through, then you won't have that problem. Now I am putting more pressure as my brush is beginning to run out of paint. I'm pulling it down with more pressure, and I just stopped in the middle, didn't I? I have to catch myself. I'll even do that. Alright, so it gives it that little bit of aged look, and I'm going to load my brush up again. and I'm just going to start over. So lightly at first, because it has got a lot of paint on it, and lightly until it comes down, and it'll start to lose some of the paint, and then you can go back up all in one stroke. And I'm going to go through again and putting more pressure now as the brush is starting to run out of paint. I think I'm going to reload this brush. Alright, so you can see on that last one that I did, I just laid the brush down because I do not waste a single bit of paint ever, because I don't know, I just can't do it. And so I'm just not a person who does that. I know that's silly, but the thing is that I've never had much money to paint with, and so I reuse, recycle, repurpose a lot of paint. In fact, a whole lot. So I'm just adding to the layers until I get to where I think that it's going to be a nice place. Now for your shutter, you see how I just stopped and it's left a spot? For your shutter, you're going to do anything you feel like doing. Anything your heart desires, because that's going to be your project. It's not mine. Bob Ross would say, in your world, in your happy little trees, and all that good business, right? So, we're getting something that's similar, but definitely not the same. Okay? So, I'm going to add a little bit of water to my brush and splash it all over the place, and then I'm going to I think that's too much, take a little bit off, and I think I'm going to come back with a light brush of water, and this is going to thin out some areas of paint and drag them a little bit more. And as I run out of water, as I do the same as I do for the paint, I want to put more pressure, and you'll put less pressure when it's full of water, more pressure when it's not. So the best thing about this Dixie Belle is it's so easy to blend. So with blending with water, that's why I use acrylics most of the time. And look at that, that's more of like what I was kind of looking for, but on the newer wood it is going to be different than the older wood. And I might have to go drag a little bit of black back through it. But yeah, the Dixie Belle can reactivate with water pretty easily, and it can help you to blend. Once it's dry, it's there, you know, don't get me wrong, it is definitely there. But if it's not quite dry, you can do a lot of things with it with just adding water. Sometimes I've seen people use spray bottles. I've seen them use all kinds of goodies. You see how it's blending out just a little? Well, a lot actually. I take that back. It's a lot. A lot of blending. Alright. So now I got it good and covered with the blue. Poke that thing back down in there. Just so you know, a little tip that I saw that I thought was really pretty awesome was when you have paint in jars like this, if you put Vaseline around the lid, it makes it easier to open and close the lids. And that's always been a thing, because these lids will get stuck as they can be. Now, the thing about black and a couple of other colors, usually like red, black, you know, some colors are different than others. So I'm going to try and clean my brush off as much as possible. I don't have to worry about cleaning it per se, but getting the water off. Now black tends to show a lot more than other colors, so you just need a little tiny dab. You know, you don't have to do a whole lot of black. And so all you're going to do is kind of come through and see how I'm just running it through there, and I'll go back and blend it more just to give it a little bit more of that black showing through. Alright. And I'll do the same again, just a touch, not a bunch, just a touch. And I'm just going to pull it through, and then I'm going to blend it out. And I'm trying to keep my brush pretty dry. I don't know if you can even see that, but it's pretty dry for the most part. So I'm going to do that again here. It's where it's looking really blue, and I'm going to pull in some black. Alright, you see how it's pulling a little bit more out of the black? That's what I was looking for. A little bit more black. And like I said, I really didn't want it to mix per se colors. I just wanted it to blend. Give it that aged look. Where I live is my family property that we've had for over 40 years. And we used to have a white barnyard fence. When we took it down because it was falling apart, I made birdhouses out of it. So that's just one of those things. Alright, let's see. I think I'm pleased with that, the way it looks antiqued. And so I'm going to close up the caviar. And let's see what we got here. We're going to pull back my finished product. Normally I would not have this together. Normally I would just do it all in one and I wouldn't have to make a second one. But I could not stop my excitement, so guess what? I made two. So I'll have one as a gift for somebody. So I'm just going to dry it off real quick with my heat gun and try to get that done as quickly as possible. So we can play around and look at it. Helpful. I tell you what, I didn't have a heat gun, and my basket weaver, she and I, we had a lot of tools together, and I ended up with custody of it somehow, and it is the best thing since sliced bread. Now, if y'all get a chance to go and see her stuff, she's got the Twisted Weaver page on Facebook. And she does amazing stuff with baskets. She does the traditional pine needle baskets. She does, weaves anything and everything. And every different kind. And she's been doing it for the longest time. She's originally from Michigan. Hold on, y'all. I have to get onto my dog. Lefty, stop it. Don't eat the box. Anyways, she's originally from Michigan, but, you know, she's been here for a very long time. So I'd dare to say that she is now Southern by choice. And she was with me for a long time at my store, and she never got paid for that. I mean, she volunteered, and she did her own little basket parties and stuff, and we had a great time. We would sit there and create stuff, and the stuff that we would sell, you know, that she would sell or I would sell, we got our own commissions off of it, and I really enjoyed her company a whole lot, and I really enjoyed learning how to make baskets. I like learning how to make pretty much anything and everything. So always something new to keep my attention. And I think that's going to be good for now. Check that out. Pretty cool. I mean, it's still a little wet, but not so wet that, you know, it's not going to create a problem. So we've got our two pieces there, and I did get some paint on here, but that is quite alright. As Bob Ross would say, it's the happy little accidents, and you can rub it out if you want to. but we don't have to. So, let me dry that real quick. By the way, Dixie Belle does come out with soap and water. I'm too lazy to go find soap and water, so there you go. Alright, so I'm thinking it should go right about there somewhere. And I've got some screws for it to do that. And we will see how that's going to work. So, the screws, when I use a screw, I'll go over here and basically test it to make sure that it's the right height. I'll make sure that it doesn't go all the way through to the bottom wood, you know, and that it's the right height for whatever purpose I'm using. And where? Oh, there it is. Okay. Sticky boy. That's my lefty dog. Alright, so I think, and this can be kind of haphazard because it's supposed to be rough stick, but do it how you want to do it. If you want it perfectly aligned, do that. I don't really go into that, so. Alright. So it doesn't have to be perfect, is my point. Alright, let's see. Get that in there. Alright. It's not perfect on height either, is it? Oh well. It's alright. It's perfect enough for me. Okay. And I'll do something. Oh, lefty, hush. Alright. There we go. It's screwed to it. Ain't going nowhere. And you can see it hasn't come through the back. I can put hooks on the back. I can put hooks in the sides here. However I want to do that. But it's sturdy and stable. It's not going anywhere. So that's our base. And I can come back now with a little bit of sandpaper if I want to. Let me get that. And sand those edges just a touch. I know sanding on video is really, it's hard to come across. You can't, you know, it's not easy for you to understand what's going on. And you can't really see it that well, but I promise you, it does make a difference. So, I'm just going to do a little bit of sanding, pulling it through, giving it a little bit more, even more age to it. And I'm going to flip this around. And I don't know if you can see the difference or not in that. So I'm pulling this. This is 60 grit sandpaper, by the way. It's pretty rough stuff. And it just gives it that more authentic look to it. There we go. Shows a little bit more of the wood grain. Makes it look more stained than paint. So. And I'm going to use my super fancy, very expensive, most favorite brush of all time. It's a what is that? Master's Touch. To get the sanding paper, the sawdust off of it. Because I use this brush. I love this brush. I've never used it for paint. I use it for my face, to put powder on, or just because it feels really, really nice. Or I use it to sweep off things that I'm working on. But it's a fabulous brush. I highly recommend everybody have one. I wish y'all could see my puppy. He looks so funny. He's got blue paint across his nose because he knocked everything over a few minutes before I was doing this. Alright, so let me see. Alright, this is my alternative key rack, as you can see. And let me see. I had this choice. I could have gone with something like this. That bright yellow. This is just some pieces off of an old chair or something, and I painted them bright yellow with that Dixie Belle. And so if I wanted to, like, use this as a leash hanger for my dogs, because I'm always hanging leashes and stuff, and it would be really good for that. Just, you know, parts and pieces. And then I have this one is another one of those hooks that I had hanging around. For whatever reason, I found them on sale, and it is iron, as you can see. It's iron, and I could use that to hang, screw in right down here, and that's the one that actually looks closest to what we were doing on this other one before I got carried away and did it all by myself without showing anybody. This is going to be the closest that it comes to right there. So I think I'm probably just going to go with that piece, which means I need to find more screws, and that's going to take a second. So let's see. I think that I may need actual shorter screws on this one, because it may go all the way through if I don't. So if I had a screw, say, this big, that would work. That screw would work. And this is another thing that it kills me. I see people throw things out. I did real estate for a while, and I was in new construction for the most part. I sat for people that were salespeople for new construction. And anyhow, I was always amazed at the amount of stuff that they throw away. I mean, in my house when I was growing up, we had a bucket of pennies, we had a bucket of nails, a bucket of screws, and a bucket of buttons and everything else, because anytime that they took something apart or they had something, you know, a leftover screw, it went into a bucket so that it could be reused. So I don't understand when people don't do that. It just blows my mind. Oh, we're just going to take all this to the metal recycling place. No, reuse it. Reuse it and let it be good. Let it have a new life. So that is my theory on that stuff. Alright, so first one. Let's move that over just a touch. And you know, if I'd been smart about it, I might have had pre-drilled holes or something. But we don't do that. I'm in the moment kind of girl. Alright, so let's see. Alright, that is done. Done is done, done, done. Alright, so I have that, and Lord only knows where I put my clippies. I don't know. But I could do, if I wanted to do something very industrial, I could do it like that. I just like my clothespins because they are aged. So I could do aged clothespins for notes. Like that. I can do, let's see, I don't have the same stickers, I don't think. But I do have some stickers. If I wanted to use them, I could. But I like the inspirational point. That was kind of neat. And this is a little bit bigger, of course, than what I previously used. Oh, those are pretty, but they're not inspirationals. Yeah, the Dollar Tree having a new craft section is just everything. It is everything. Because there are so many things in there that I can actually use, and I'm just delighted for that. Absolutely. I like old Victorian looking things a lot of times. I thought I'd gotten some butterflies, but I guess I didn't. Alright, well, these are rub-on transfers. Hi, Pumpkin. What you doing there, Mr. Lefty Dog? Alright, let's see. Nope, nope, nope. I don't have any. So I am going to have to work on that, because I don't really have anything that I necessarily want to use on here. I mean, yeah, this is a place for notes. I could do that, but then it's too long. And I don't really have any good sayings on those. So they're not really going to work, are they? And then I have these, and they're cute. Cute enough. I could use some of those, but I just don't know. Those are rub-on transfers, and I've not had a great amount of success with rub-on transfers. Just me, I don't know. But, so, what I'm going to do next is try to annoy my dog some more. I'm going to plug in my glue gun. How about that? So, while that's heating up so that I can glue these little jokers in place, see which sides look the best. I guess it doesn't really matter, does it? And these don't have to be perfect either, but you know, that is where you're going to hang your notes and stuff. And let me see. Let me get up. Hold on one second, y'all. I know I'm not talking, and you're going, what is she doing? What is going on? I am looking for some note material. So if I wanted to show you what it might look like with that, you could actually see it. Alright, so here's some post-it notes. Those will work just fine. And let's just say, excuse me? Who are you growling at, dog? Let's say I want to put a note of some sort. I could do that. And that looks really cute. Shh. Or if I want to put a whole stack of post-its, I could put a stack of post-its there. Yep, he's so annoying sometimes, I tell you what. Alright. So that is just an example of things you can do with this. Alright. This should be warming. Hush. Okay. Put that one there. And I am not looking for even spacing, I promise. I'm not. Although it kind of feels like I am, but I'm really not. So the things that you can do otherwise, you can put if you wanted to, you can draw your own designs, make some swirly cues to match this. Or paint anything, paint a sign on it, or paint a name on it, or put these up here and paint a wording across here, like home or something to that effect. We could easily do that, and that would be closest to the other one, but it'd be hard to hang these, so I think I want those on there. And I might paint like a little trail around here with a little bumblebee or something. Let's see. Rose perfume. I don't know. I'm still debating on that one, y'all. Still debating. So if it were for puppies, I have puppy dog ribbon. I could put a piece of puppy dog ribbon there to give it a little extra something, or even one going across the top here. Glue it like that so that it would be like a banner of puppy stuff, and then put maybe another one down at the bottom or not. If you really want to get fancy, you know, there's always sequins, because we do like some glitter around here. We do. We really do like some glitter around here. And make it really sparkly, but I don't know about that one either. We'll see. We might just do that because it's fun. So, alright, so I think I've got glue gun heated, and this is going to be so simple, you'll see. I mean, it's just a matter of spreading the glue out onto the clothespin and then placing the clothespin approximately where you want it. And yes, I know they're not evenly spaced. That is the point. That is the purpose. So, I don't want them. I'm only going to do about this much of the clothespin. And putting that one in the center. Okay. And you know, when you come in, you want to have things. I'm forever losing my keys and whatever else. So this is why I have key racks all over my house. I have them by all the doors. I have a bunch in the kitchen for my dog's leashes. And look at that. They're almost evenly spaced. Even though they're not where they're supposed to be. That's so crazy. Anyways. So I do that. I have the tendency to put them everywhere to keep leashes and stuff. So this is our video of our basic piece that I did, that I added embellishments to, and it looked like this when I got done with the little embellishments. So what I'm going to do is probably make a second part of video to where I finish this off and show you exactly all the embellishments that I put on it and how I do it. So we'll get into that next time on my second video for this. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed making this little key rack with me that has all your little notes for when people come, you know, or coming or leaving or what have you. You can leave a note. You could even put the person's name on the side if you wanted to. Put their little names right here, and that way you know who the note's for. And then you can hang up your keys. You can hang up, with this one, you can hang up a coat if you wanted to, or a hat. And here's our finish on our wood. And I don't know if that's a little bit better to be able to see it. So very simple, very easy to make. Made out of simple fence boards. Made them look old. And I will add some more embellishments next time on our second video. This is part 1. And I hope you have a good day.